What is up, everybody? This is I Break Cards, and welcome back to another episode of Cardboard Talks. Today I'm here with Jamie, who is someone who is trying to complete some rainbows, and that is majorly what we'll be talking about today, as well as showcasing some of his son's favorite cards that they collect. Jamie, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's my pleasure, Ben. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you, too. And I'm going to start off how I always start off these little interviews, and I say always being 2 episodes deep into this. What do you consider yourself necessarily a collector, a sports fan, a rainbow creator, / hopefully eventually finisher? What do you exactly consider yourself?
I probably checked quite a few of those boxes. My sports fandom is what probably got me into cards. Maybe a combination of both. When I was little. And as you mentioned, I am chasing a couple rainbows, which finding the pot of gold at the end is a challenge, as I'm finding out. And definitely a collector. Between myself and my 3 boys, we've grown a PC. We all have fairly similar tastes, so sometimes trading amongst the 4 of us is a challenge.
Yeah.
No one wants to let go of anything, but we do our best. But yeah, I've been collecting sports cards. Probably started when I was about 8 or 9. Remember a dude on an airplane was kind of shuffling through these cards, and I didn't know what they were at first, and then turns out they were football cards, and they were not. I remember vividly that they were 1984 football cards, because when I finally started buying some, I just remember that design.
Yeah, and I made it a point back when I was collecting younger to always collect like the early on stuff, because that's where the memories are. So much 07 stuff, so much sometimes 80s, 90s stuff, because when you're a kid and you're on an allowance, that's what's cheapest. So we know what got you into collecting, so I get to skip that question, but I do get to ask. I can see the Denver jersey in the background, so why is Denver your favorite team?
Born and raised in Colorado, was born in Denver and grew up in Colorado Springs. And during that time, growing up in the 80s, the Nuggets were decent, but it was all Broncos. There was no Avalanche hockey. There was no Colorado Rockies. So, Broncos, orange and blue, ruled the state. And John Elway got there in the mid-'80s, and that was a whole nother fever, I think, for football, having someone that talented who really changed the trajectory of that franchise.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And we're seeing that with all these young quarterbacks coming into the game today. People, no longer is this a time of the pocket quarterback. It's all about the scrambling, or all about, jumping and throwing, or throwing sidearm, or no looks. Of course, I'm talking about Mahomes, but we are here today to actually not talk about Mahomes, but to talk about your rainbows. And you've got 2 you're working on.
Correct.
And who are they, and kind of what products, what are you missing? Kind of give me the down low.
Sure. So I started back collecting. So I collected as a kid, and then at some point during high school, priorities changed and cards weren't as important, and kind of went away. Here and there, I might buy some cards just kind of for the fun of it, but I didn't do anything with it. It was just kind of more random. And so roughly a year ago, I wanted to grab a Philip Lindsay card. I really didn't know anything about it, and then when I started looking, I was like, holy cow, there's a bunch in there. We have a kind of a personal story with Philip Lindsay. Again, Colorado kid, born and raised in Denver, went to the University of Colorado, and then obviously was an undrafted signee for the Broncos. So it's kind of a natural fit. We got to meet him just before his senior year at Colorado. We were on a facilities tour, and he just happened to be there. And it was really cool because he just came up to us and just started chatting us up. And we probably got a good 5-10 minutes with him, I think, post-workout or something, as he was heading out. He had no obligation to stop or talk to us or anything. He just did, which I thought was really cool. And it was a highlight, I know, for me, but I think the boys, too. That was kind of one of their first times being starstruck. So
yeah.
This is kind of a long-winded answer to your question, but that's how I kind of got back. I was like, I'm just going to get a Philip Lindsay autograph. Well, that's turned into multiple Philip Lindsay autograph cards. And then he has a tough time staying on the sticker, so I stopped collecting his sticker autographs and was looking for something else because the on-card stuff gets pricey. And I said, I'm going to chase a rainbow. and I chose two products that are fairly inexpensive, but I also like the photography on the card. So I chose 2019 Legacy and 2019 Luminance. I think from a photography perspective, Luminance is my favorite. I love the full bleed photography. So that was an easy one, although I will say, and I'll show you guys here in a moment, the Legacy Rainbow, it truly is. Like, it pops. There's no mistaking which version is which when you look at them. They're very obvious. So I think that's probably a pretty good teaser or lead up here. So as you can kind of see there at the top, and now I've put in my wanted signs in. I don't know if they're showing up there.
Oh, yeah.
So I am looking for, and I've done my rainbow backwards, the Black 101 from Legacy Base, and then I'm also looking for some of the Legacy quote-unquote prism variations that are there. The base one's really the one I'm chasing. The chrome one has kind of happened as a byproduct. And then the Luminance, which are down there on the bottom. The Luminance are a little harder to tell. It's just very distinct. The only thing that's different is the player's name is different colors. So yeah, that's kind of how that got started. I'd say I've been working on it for 5 or 6 months. Have eBay watches for Philip Lindsay 101, so if something pulls up on there, I'm able to do it. Although, if we could stop doing eBay 101s, really help me out.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, yeah, that's kind of how that came to be. It's been fun, and I didn't realize how good the Legacy Rainbow would start looking until it got put together, because the borders are all very, very distinct on it.
Yep. And that's the way I prefer it personally. I prefer it to where it's obvious and it's border compared to it just being a name, because I remember collecting younger and I bought a ton of like Upper Deck baseball, which was like before 2010 probably, and I didn't know the names were gold, and that meant they were numbered. And so I had to go back through all of my collection at one point to find all these numbered cards. And of course, when you first start out, you don't even know what numbered cards are. There's just some random number on there, and you don't know what this means. But I do like the borders. The borders look really nice, and I hope that you can get that done soon. eBay one-of-ones are very annoying. I'll agree. Because, it could be, this card is number 10 out of 1,000, but they wear number 10, so that's a one-of-one, Let's do some quick math, but that's not the case. Yeah, and I find that quite annoying too. Or when they put in, a really good player's name on a listing and the card isn't even of that player, it's just to get people's attention. I don't like that either, so I get that. Now, we've talked about you kind of get some of your cards from eBay. You have saved searches on and stuff like that. But these cards that you have for your Rainbow, have you traded for any of them or anything like that?
So I started, I think I said, about last April-ish is when, so just over a year ago. And then I found out about breaks. And I was like, well, that's kind of cool because these are somewhat expensive. And as it happened, I think Legacy was one of the first breaks that I got into with Midwest box breaks. So one of the first ones, I remember I got a Drew Lock College RPA, which I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. And then started figuring out I don't necessarily like, if it's not my university, I don't necessarily like the college uniform. So anyway, and I got a couple of the variations of the Philip Lindsay cards through some Legacy breaks. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, those are kind of cool, but I didn't really do anything with them. So that's how I initially acquired maybe 2 or 3 cards. I would say most of them are through eBay, though.
Yeah. And that's just easiest.
Lindsay's, I don't want to say obscure, but at the same time, I guess I kind of want to be known as the Lindsay guy. I know there's other Bronco fans that really, really like him, but if someone's got a card, they're selling on Twitter, and it's a Lindsay, I hope I'm tagged in it.
Yeah.
I at least want to have an opportunity to say yes or no on it. So, and the more the word gets out that that's, what I'm chasing, because I'll probably move on to another one at some point. But I also, Legacy and Luminance work because they're hobby only. so I don't have 50 variations like I might with a Prism. So that helps to kind of pare that down a little bit.
Yep, and I remember busting a ton of legacy because I did some breaks at one point before, life just gets in the way and things get too hectic. And we did pull a Philip Lindsay. It was like the first pack of the break. We just straight up pulled a Philip Lindsay auto. And Lindsay was known to just do so well. And I mean, he would run over my Chiefs because our rush defense was just awful most of last season and the season before. And I remember pulling that, and I was even excited. But yeah, his whole signature was like off the card. We flip it over. We're looking for numbering because this is a second-year guy. And normally you're going to pull either a veteran or a rookie, typically a rookie in a product. And you're not going to pull a second-year guy. And the card wasn't even numbered. But it was really cool to pull that. And I respect the guy just for his game and for being a guy who stays out of trouble and things like that as well. And so,
yeah, I feel like his story resonates. I mean, he's 5'8". He's not a very big dude. He's definitely not very big when you see him in person, and you're kind of like, wow, that's an NFL running back, which I think speaks to how hard he's worked and how much he's overcome, and people telling him, he didn't get invited to the combine. You're too little. You're too slow or whatever, and then he runs a 4.4 at his pro day. It's like, no, I'm good. So it's meaningful. I think the thing that'll always happen, and no matter what happens in the future, I know the shelf life of a running back is pretty short. So as selfishly, I hope Philip Lindsay is a Bronco for life, but the business part of it, I understand that might change at some point, but that won't change my collecting. I probably just won't collect him if it's ever in another uniform.
Yeah, that's
pretty challenging.
That's how I feel about like when Jared Allen went to the Vikings or Tony Gonzalez went to the Falcons or things like that. Eric Berry, not making it on another team. Justin Houston going to the Colts. I totally understand. And I respect the guy too, and I completely agree with everything you have to say. And we've spoken a lot about why these specific products, at the time they were relatively cheap, now they're relatively expensive with everything going on. The amount of hobby boxes was way up here, and now it's way down, here, because nothing new is being made due to Corona, and then shelf life of all these boxes has gone down, so everybody wants a break, so price goes up. Singles are for some reason going down. I've noticed a lot of cards going down as well. But I would like to ask, and I just have a few more questions before we talk to your sons. How long have you been looking for those out of 10 and those 1 of 1? Several months, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was September, October time frame, and had been watching one. I have not seen the 1 of 1s pop up since I've been following it. So my fingers crossed that they're still in a box somewhere and someone's going to rip it and have it, and they're not a Philip Lindsay collector and they don't take me to the cleaners too bad on it. But I'm hoping they pop up. I missed now I got to look at which number it was, out of 10 from Luminance, and I thought I had it, and I got sniped it, in the last couple seconds on eBay. In hindsight, I think I lost out on it over like 50 cents or $1. I was like, ugh.
Yep.
When am I going to see this come back around? But that's kind of the way it goes, and I think part of that's the chase, if you will. I like to fish a lot, so I think it's kind of like the same thing. You're hunting that big fish. Sometimes you see them, with the waters, where they are, and you're like, I'm going to catch it. I'm going to get it. I will land it. I don't know when. Yeah,
eventually. I'm not giving up. So if anybody does see it, feel free to reach out. And what is your Twitter?
So Twitter handle is at the real SPZA. SPZA is all caps. The real is all lowercase. And that is a shout out to a nickname I earned in college when Wu-Tang Clan was blowing up and taking the world by storm, and my buddies gave me a Wu-Tang Clan nickname, so it's stuck, and they still call me that. So when I opened Twitter account, I was like, yeah, that'll work.
Yep, and I understand that. And I break cards from literally I open up packs of cards. So I'm breaking cards. That's how I got that. I thought it was simple. I had other names in mind, nowhere near as good as that, so we just ran with it. Final question before we talk to your sons. What do you think Phillip Lindsay would think of your rainbow attempts? Do you think he'd think it was cool? Do you think he'd think it was a little strange? Do you think he would support your, rainbow? What do you think he would say?
I guess as a fan, I'm hopeful that it would be cool. That's he'd be supportive and be impressed. And I always wonder if these athletes have ever really seen all the cards that are made of them and the variations. Like, I'd be kind of curious if they're even aware of how many there are. So I think from maybe that perspective, maybe seeing yourself on all these different cards and different pictures and stuff, maybe that to me, if that were me, I'd be fascinated.
Yeah.
I don't think probably all that many of them collect. Right? So they might get one of their cards here and there, but it's probably not all that important to them. I think there's another flip side that, maybe they just think we're obsessed weirdos, and there's maybe some truth to that. Obsessed, yes. I like to think I'm not that weird, but yeah, I mean, he's got a story, and I think the reasons that we're collecting him is meaningful. So yeah, I would hope that there would be some maybe level of respect there. Like, that's cool. I appreciate you being a fan.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, and I've never had a player who I asked to sign a card say anything but like, thanks for coming out. I do remember, however, years ago, I'm sure you know who I'm going to talk about, Len Dawson. Before we won our last Super Bowl, it was the only winning quarterback Chiefs for somebody who had won the Super Bowl. And I met him at a Chiefs game in the broadcast booth at halftime. It was a Chargers game. It was several years ago. We lost terribly, so it was a very long time ago. Him and Mitch Holtis. Mitch Holtis ran out. He'd been holding his bladder for a whole half. So he was, I got to go to the bathroom. Bye. Like, nice to see you. Bye. And Len Dawson had, like, photos signed to hand to us. And I handed him this card. And it was a jersey card. My dad had bought it for me to have him sign. And he looks at this and he goes, "What's that in the card?" I said, "Well, that's your jersey, Mr. Dawson." And he goes, "You're telling me they cut up my jersey?" I said, "Yes."
Yeah.
You signed a contract saying they could do that, but he's like, "I don't like that very much." And I had to hold in the laughter, because like at that point I thought, I'm such a pro at collecting. I know everything about collecting, and I'm still learning things about collecting. But he signed that card, and his Sharpie went a little bit onto that jersey piece, but that's all right. It looks great. I have it framed. Yeah. And he was such a nice guy after that. He just sat there and talked to us, and like just a minute or two before the next half was supposed to start, they finally kicked us out. Mitch, we never saw Mitch again, but I have only good things to say about him as well. And that was the funniest experience I personally ever had, meeting a player, and they were like, "What in the world is going on here?" Because they didn't have that at his time when he played. So let's talk to your boys, because I'm sure they've got some impressive stuff to show me.
This is Will.
What up, Will?
Say hi. Hi.
What do you got to show me today?
You're gonna be able to show them the silver part.
Nice.
On our way, autographs, football.
You got somebody else on there too.
Flat. That was a ball that I had signed probably back in 1985 or 86 at the United States Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, and they had a chili cook-off competition, and Elway was at this booth. We knew he was going to be there, and we got there, and there was nobody in line. So I got, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes with me and a buddy and my dad chatting him up. Definitely a lifetime memory. The bladder in the ball is toast, so we just have it there as a flat football.
Super cool.
So it's on loan to him for his room right now.
On loan for how long?
I don't know. What do you think, Will?
Permanently? Permanent loan?
Is it going to be yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did one time pull a John Elway autograph, numbered to 10, out of a $2 pack.
Wow.
A $2 Topps pack. I traded it for another box shortly thereafter, and has probably been one of the worst mistakes I ever made it as a collector. On card, just beautiful stuff. And how you met Elway is how I met Christian Okoye. He was sitting in the middle of my mall, no signs around him, just this guy sitting at a foldable table, had a couple pens out in front of him. My dad goes, that guy looks familiar. We approach him. He introduces himself. We talked to him for hours. No one else was there. And so I met back with him years later, and he still remembered me, and I asked for an autograph for my dad. And again, no one was there. Got to talk to him. As soon as I started talking to him, there goes the line all the way down the corridor, you know. But athletes are such nice and down-to-earth people if you can meet the right one.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you have any cards you want to show me?
Yeah, I have a Drew Lock autograph
Nice.
from Prism.
Yep, that was a redemption. It was supposed to be a Paris Campbell out of 2019 Donruss, and it took forever, right?
Yeah.
And then we contacted Panini, and they said, you know, who are your players and teams? And we said Broncos, and that was the option. And so for us, going from Paris Campbell to Drew Lock was a pretty easy switch. Yeah, he pulled the redemption out of a pack at the LCS, and that was, I think, our first experience with the redemption.
You know, what is this? The scratch
What's
entered
that?
on the website? You know, what is...
Oh yeah, we kind of didn't know, and the guys at the LCS walked us through and said, just go here and you know, scratch that off when you get home. Don't, you know, because if you drop it, someone else could. We're like, okay.
Yep.
So yeah, I think Will has one more he wanted to share.
Yeah.
Bradley Chubb, National Treasure booklet.
Nice. On-card autograph, multiple color jersey, jumbo jersey.
Yeah, I got a screaming deal on one for, I think, booklets. It was Sutton, Chubb, Royce Freeman. I think 2 Chubbs, 2 Freemans, and a Cortland Sutton. Someone was just getting rid of them. I'm like, I'll take all those.
Yeah. Why not, right?
I think some people love booklets and some don't. I think they're fascinating. I just wish the one-touches weren't so stinking expensive.
Yeah, I've run into that issue too. And I love pulling an unsuspected booklet, which has only happened like once, and it was a Jaguars booklet, which was like, you know, not great. And it was back in like a mid 2000s product, so it wasn't, the players weren't even, you know, like DJ Shark or Chark, you know, they weren't today's players. I don't even think they're in the NFL anymore. I looked it up. I was like, dual auto, booklet, you know, low numbered, and the last one sold for like $10. So it's like not even worth it, you know, to list or anything. But still very cool stuff.
They're fun. They're definitely fun. I think it's a kind of a cool thing of how far collecting's come, that, you know, go from those relic cards to booklets and those kind of things.
Hey, man.
Hey, this first card I wanted to show you was a rookie origin Royce Freeman patch.
Love that patch. 3 colors. So that's probably low numbered, isn't it?
It's actually not numbered.
Yeah, that's one of those origin ones that wasn't numbered, but very nice patch.
Don't you hate that when they're not numbered? They should be numbered.
And then I got this 30 out of 99 blue acetate Panini 1 card.
Panini 1 is great. I love Panini 1.
I have to give a shout out to a collector, and ironically, I saw something on Twitter where someone came after him yesterday, but Timmy Ahern sent Vincent this and 3 other Panini 1 cards basically as a rack. And I don't know that I had ever had any interaction with him prior to that, except for just seeing posts on Twitter. And it just kind of blew me away. That's one of the things, is we've gotten back into collecting, how people have treated the boys right before Corona. So it was the Friday basically before everything got shut down. We went to the LCS and we were shopping, and there's a guy in there trying to unload some pretty high-end stuff to the LCS. And we're in there, and eventually it was just him and the boys and I and the guys at the LCS, and he says, "Do you mind if I give your boys a card?" Sure. Let me ask. I'm pretty sure they're not going to say no. And he pulls out a Joe Montana, a Dan Marino, and a John Elway rookie cards. And he said, "Can I give them?" And I'm sitting there going, "Is this a joke? Is this guy pranking us?"
Yeah.
So he hands. I think the youngest got first pick, and so he took the Joe Montana.
Smart.
He took the Dan Marino, and my middle son took the Elway. I think the other two were like, "I already have an Elway rookie," so they went a different direction. But the kindness that's been shown to them has been awesome.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of collectors who've been doing this for a while, who are adults, feel like the hobby's dying a little bit. I think that's part of it, but it's also like we need to get the younger generation in here too, because they are the future of the hobby. They're the ones who are going to make the next big thing. What's after booklets? You know, are we going to have video cards come back up again? Are we going to have redemptions for game tickets? I think that would be cool. Or, you know, helmets, or, you know, their ideas are what's going to keep this hobby going.
Ben.
Hey, Quentin, how you doing?
I brought...
He asked you how you're doing.
Oh, good.
I see a dual auto.
Yeah, I brought my Drew Lock and No Fent dual pen pal auto.
Did you pull that yourself?
So we were in at the rookie, and then I got one of the Donruss Elite packs for about $8, and then opened it, and I got the Noah Fant and Drew Lock dual pen pals autograph from the pack.
Have your brothers tried to trade you for that a lot?
No, not really.
Wow.
I don't think he's willing to let it go. Every once in a while he sees something of mine that catches his eye and he offers that up. I'm like, you need to keep that one.
Yeah, Drew Lock is the future of the Broncos, in my opinion. I pulled a really low number, like out of 25 out of certified, his rookie jersey auto. Got rid of it way too soon. He's the future.
I remember you opened it because you sent me a picture of it saying, "I hope you're not too mad about it." And I was like, "No, that's a sweet rip." You gotta clean that up, dude. Stop messing with that.
What else you got for me?
He's got one more.
I got this for my birthday. I got a Philip Lindsay medal autographed card.
I really like those cards too. You know, the single pack products Element does aren't terrible, and I remember doing a couple breaks with that too, and you can get some really good stuff out of there.
I like Elements. I'm a sucker for the metal cards.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I dig them.
Yeah. Normally it's just printing plates or metal, you know, so maybe that's it.
Yeah.
It's numbered to 99 too.
Yeah, and you can get your variations are like of rare like metals, like golds are like out of one. There's like platinum and different things like that. So those are really cool. Didn't you get a big mail day here recently? I don't know if you want to show that.
So this, and I posted this on Twitter, but I have some cards off to PSA, but this is the actual my first slab card. It's a out of encased. It's a Broncos Hall of Famer, Champ Bailey. And for Beckett, as a 9.5 and a 10 autograph, I was pretty stoked. It had the Hall of Fame engraving, or not engraving, but notation on the autograph from Bailey. And he also happens to be my wife's favorite player. So that fits pretty well with what we're doing. So that here and there, I'm trying to pick up more of the Bronco Hall of Famers. For a while, that was real easy because there was like two, but now we're getting more and more that are going in.
Well, that's all from me. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your boys saying hi, and thanks to the wife for letting you guys get away for a little bit today and doing this with me. But that's all from me. I appreciate you guys very much. Don't forget, everybody, to hit him up if you guys find any Philip Lindsay autos or decent rookies, numbered stuff. He is, of course, looking for his one-of-ones in Luminance and in, what was the other one? Legacy. And what was the out of 10 of again? Was that in Luminance or Legacy?
Luminance. Yeah, Luminance, I got to probably look at my checklist. I think I need the 1-of-1, the 1-of-10. There might be one more, but there's not a ton of variations thankfully, in luminance.
Yeah.
But everything that I've seen pop up on eBay, I was able to get the pink out of 5 through Twitter, which
nice.
was nice, and it wasn't crazy,
Yeah.
you know. So it was a reasonable deal. But still looking for him. So if you see Philip Lindsay, you get something, let me know.
One day we'll get it accomplished. Thank you so much again for your time. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you very much.